Hi everyone, my name is Angelina Remnick and today I'll be discussing the main points of my paper. So I elected to do the second essay topic, which is in regards to Catalonian secessionism. So I'm going to start kind of backwards and just discuss after everything, all my readings and research, I believe that the Catalan and Spanish governments have to learn to work together in order for there to be any real resolutions that are being brought forward to this crisis that is at this point inevitable, and that ethnicity and identity serve as the main points of separating the people in Spain, even though that should not be the case. The governments have to set a precedent that they have to come to this agreement that the rest of the country will be able to set as well. So because of the fact that in Catalonia there was a separate language that's spoken, and there's a lot of, as a result of the immigration of the 1960s and 70s, there is a separation due to identity and crisis. This is one of the main factors that has exacerbated this crisis and has forced political parties to essentially choose a side at this point. So in 2017, there was the illegal referendum in which Article 155 was invoked by the central government in Madrid, and Article 155 basically took away the ability for Catalan parties to make any real change in the government because they viewed them as a threat to the Spanish nationalism, and they wanted to shut down this independence movement. And even now, 5 years later in 2022, there hasn't really been much real progress made, and there's been a number of solutions that have been suggested to be enacted. However, they've all failed, one of them being to get the financial support of the European Union. However, due to the overextended nature of the European Union, that hasn't really been a matter of making much progress. So the main question is whether or not someone is identified as a Catalan versus Spaniard, and that's the Catalonian issue, which it basically expounds upon the extent of this identity crisis that has managed to permeate the country of Spain. So nationalism, whether it's state or sub-state, manages to underscore these cultural or ethnic roots and the whole issue that's surrounded by here. So there was mass migration in the 1960s and 70s from different despondent areas in the rest of Spain, and they went to relocate to these peripheral districts and cosmopolitan areas such as Barcelona and Tarragona, where a lot of the Catalonian population is found. And this Catalonian nationalism highlights the self-government and requires short periods of independence and nation-building politics, and the bolsterment and exacerbation of the Catalan language had helped to create this nationalistic discourse. So the language became a hallmark in a sense for Catalan nationalism, and birthed this inclusive exclusive factor that people felt that they had to feel whether they were fitting into as a Spaniard or a Catalan. So this goes into the fact that people looked at speaking the language and being from this region as an internal external factor, and looking at results from 2012, about 40% of the Quitanas Partido de la Ciudadanía and 50% of the PSOE and 66% of the PP voters were from the rest of Spain, which just is demonstrative of this regional discourse. So another idea that was brought forward to help this crisis is enlisting the help of Madrid, Valencia, and the Balearic Islands, with the hopes of collecting funds from them to help this crisis. A lot of the people in those places viewed that this was more of an issue just for Catalans, and it wasn't their issue at the end of the day. So at the end of the day, my main point is that ethnicity and identity shouldn't be serving as a dividing factor in this Catalonian secessionism, but I do think that's the main divider. Thank you.